hopefully by the end of the session, you will feel more confident about planning and storyboarding that is visualizing your own shots, scenes, and short films that you'll be making. You'll also be using the recording tools you already have in your own homes to capture, store, organize, and share footage. We're not going to talk about editing today. We're going to do that later. We are also going to learn how to collaborate remotely to create public awareness films. Some of the big questions that we are going to come across today in this class is how similar or how different is film from a live performance? And what are the ingredients of an effective public awareness film? You have all probably seen at least one public awareness film. Hopefully you saw one a couple of weeks ago when you looked at the B4 Youth Theaters webpage. You probably saw, I know many of you said that you saw No Justice, No Peace, and we will be looking at that one again today and examining it. Another idea we're really thinking about is how can aesthetics, that is, how can beauty and appearances and how can attention to visual and auditory details, how can they convey meaning and actually add to the public message you want to convey? So sometimes we tend to think in terms of like there's artistic stuff and then there's social messages, but actually we're going to try to bring them together in this class, is that they don't have to occupy different camps. We need to democratize and bring down this idea of art so that it's something that everybody has access to and can make, and not just people who are officially called artists. So, and then the last big question is how is it possible to make a film together? It's a very collaborative process, just like theater, despite looking at these screens and being socially distanced from each other. Is it possible? And if it is, how can we do it? So we're going to jump into the frame game. Shout it out. Has anybody ever heard of any of these shots before? Long shot, mid shot, over the shoulder, close up, extreme close up. Has anybody heard of those?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. So this will not be brand new, which is great. We're going to scaffold and build off of that. So let's take a look at what some of the most popular and common shots are. With this, you'll be well equipped to make your own for your films. So in the first box here, we have a street with a really tiny person there. This is called the extreme long shot, or ELS. Sometimes it's called establishing long shot. What this does is that it shows the surroundings, the scene, with little emphasis on the actual person or characters. It's more about where you are in the scene, the surroundings. And then we come a little closer in, and then we go down to the long shot on the bottom with the astronaut. This is a long shot because it shows the character really from head to toe. You see the full character. Usually we see this when we're, kind of coming closer in and looking at who these characters are going to be, who's going to be in this film. We need to see who they are, like fully see them. And then on the right, where you see the kids standing, this is a mid shot. It starts from the middle of the character up, so the waist up. Now we're getting even closer into the person. This is an over the shoulder shot. It's also a mid shot. It's usually a mid shot where you can see a bit more of the person than just the face. And you see like the shoulders, and you see the focus is really on the character who's reacting. So it's like the camera was right behind Spider-Man. And you can see the character reacting to whatever Spider-Man is saying. And now mid close up. Now we have a shot of the head and the shoulders. You can see that it's closer than the mid shot. It's like a mid close up. We're getting closer now to somebody. And this is a close up shot. This is a shot of really the face. We're really seeing a character's thoughts and feelings and how they're reacting to the story, what's happening. And then on the far right, we have an extreme close up where it's just one part of their face, maybe the eyes or the mouth, just what you want to draw attention to. It doesn't have to be the face. It could even be someone's hands. If you want to focus on maybe their ring or something that's in fine detail. It blocks everything else out in the frame and just shows that one thing that you want to get your audience to look at. Those are the 7 basic shots.
ELS.
Okay. Kenny, you need to go far a little bit. LX. Then Evelyn, you need to move a little bit so that we can see all your feet. Yes, good.
Good job, director. Good job.
Bravo, princess. Bravo.
Okay, next one. Extreme close up.
Oh.
Silas is funny. Sarah.
Oh
Sarah.
no.
Hey, Sarah.
Hey,
Hi.
Sarah.
Sarah.
Which one?
Yeah. Okay, everybody got it. One more? I saw somebody's teeth.
The next one is ECU. Oh. Oh no.
Silas, you look wild.
I know. Everybody got it.
One of the ideas that we're tackling through this class is that the form matters to the message. And that's why we're choosing, that's why we're not writing papers about development. We're actually using theater because we learn new knowledge through theater itself. And it's a different way of expressing knowledge as well as developing knowledge. So the Penn students will understand this reading more than the Alfajo students because this is what we did in a previous class, but this is just to underpin the idea that theater for development actually relies on aesthetics. It needs aesthetics. So the art forms, costumes, set, properties, and space, all these things, they all contribute to the efficacy or the effectiveness of the message and the usefulness of theater for development. So you could say that our theater projects will be limited if they concentrate solely on the effects of social outcomes, if they only concentrate on the social message and they forget the radical potential of the freedom to enjoy and to create beautiful things. If we forget the fact that we're all creating beautiful things, and if we only focus on the social message, we may not be able to make the message very effective. And we can do both in this class. There's time for both, and there's space for both. And some of the questions that this leads us to consider is that how do all these things, how do the setting, the background space that we're in, the things that we have, the Teletubbies, the props, the background details, what we choose to wear, how are all of these things sending a message or not sending a message? And who is playing each character? Is this the best actor to play and to visually represent this character? And again, with outfits, we've learned, the Penn students have read a couple of readings about how it's important to think about what everyone's wearing. How do these things convey or distract from the message that you're trying to convey? Composition is how everything behind everything in a frame is composed, how it's all put together. We have 3 different examples here. Now, I know that the word better is pretty subjective. You know, what's a good shot, what's a bad shot? That's pretty subjective, and it's very artistic as well. So there isn't really a right answer, but we can say that certain things may send the message more quickly and more effectively than others. Now, in the top here, you see the blonde girl. Out of these 2 frames, which do you think looks better? Which is composed better?
The right.
The second one.
Why?
Because it shows more of his face and we can see him like better more than the second one. The second one we really see his face and like that's all.
So Sky, in the first picture, what is the first thing that what's dominating the picture? What do you see more of?
The background.
Is that important is that necessarily the most important thing in this frame?
No.
It could be if there's a focus on somebody approaching behind her perhaps, but we probably need to see more of her. There's probably more focus on her. So the second frame shows more what's called the head space is just right. The space above her head isn't too much. In the first one, there's way too much head space. In the second one, there's just the right amount of headspace. Okay, so she's comfortably sitting in the frame. What about the bottom example of the girl in the bottom? Looks like she might be in a room with lots of white things behind her. Which one? Let's have somebody else this time, another student from Afajo. Which do you think looks better?
I think the second one that she did looks better because you can see more of her and it's less blurry.
Oh, good point. You're right. The second one is less blurry. And that's a really great point, is that you see more of her and less of what's behind her. And again, unless there's something really exciting happening directly behind her, you probably don't need to see so much of what looks like a bathroom sink and the door and the window. So we see more of her and we get more of her character and her emotions and expressions. This is called nose room. So there's enough space between her nose and the end of the frame. Now let's look at the guy sitting on the couch in the far left. The guy sitting on the couch. Which do you think is better composed, or which one looks better to you?
The first one.
Why do you think the first one?
Well, the first one you can tell where he is, and the background. You can see the background and him, the face. Even though the second one is closer, but you can see the face clearly, and the background clearly.
Okay.
They both good.
And Mercy, and how does the second one differ? What is different about the second one?
The second one, it's different because you can only see the face, but you can't see the background, and I mean you can't see the whole background, and you can't tell like exactly where he's in, like where he's at. You can't think of a place where he could be.
So you see how in the first picture we see a lot of the background. Do you see what's happening in the background? What's on that couch?
He's sitting.
That's a really loud print behind him. Do our eyes look at him as much, or the whole background? Where do our eyes focus more on? Is it just him, or is it the background and everything else in the background too?
Well,
You see like everything in the background. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
go ahead, but I'm saying the colors, the black and white catches my eyes more than him.
So the background almost dominates the character. This is a really interesting shot, because if I was maybe wanting to show how this man was maybe small in his world and his sense of self, maybe he didn't feel very confident about something, this would be a good shot, because it shows him like almost dominated by what's around him. But in the second shot, in the below one, you see somebody who's filling the frame. You see more of him. And we almost get the sense that he's in control of what's happening in the frame. We get more of him. We see more of, he looks like he's large and almost confident and in charge. But in the first one, there's so much other stuff happening that's distracting from him. It almost looks like he's small in his surroundings. So there's no right or wrong way. Just use whichever one is going to build towards your message. But keep in mind that the background like that, the really loud print, it might distract if you don't intend to show the background. If you want to show the character, then maybe switch the background to a neutral one that's maybe a solid color, or change his shirt, or bring the camera closer to him. This was a student film that was made in April during lockdown. And a little bit of the film was done before lockdown, but the majority of it was done after lockdown. It was made by Penn students and by high school students from Sayre High School on 58th and Walnut Street in West Philadelphia.
Welcome to the Making of Young Chefs. I'm Ale, and I'm with Marianne.
Hi.
And Jean.
Hello.
And we're University of Pennsylvania students working with an after-school program at Sayre High School to produce a cooking show. This is part of a larger after-school initiative. And although the club is facilitated by Eric, it's the young chefs that do all the work. We brought the equipment in mid-March for them to start shooting their first episodes. And after some editing magic, it was ready for TV.
Today, guys. Today we're gonna be making a broccoli cheddar soup, and the guys who are gonna be helping me make it today are I'm Chef Kyle.
I'm Chef Xavier. I'm Chef Devin.
In a medium sauce pan over medium-high heat, saute onion and carrot in margarine or butter until onions begin to brown.
The milk inside of it and make sure we get a good texture.
Make sure you gotta stir it too, because milk seems to cook really weird. Like our cameraman just said over there. Our camerawoman.
Into here. Now I'm gonna add one whole cup.
Across the country, more states are enacting tough new restrictions, bracing for worse days ahead.
Fears over COVID ID are impacting daily life. More schools across the area are closing.
So right now I'm adding 2 1/4 cups into here. And now I'm gonna add 1 whole cup of milk.
More than 4,000 falling to COVID-19. The loss of life only expected to climb. The White House Coronavirus Task Force revealing grim models.
The fields are empty, the playgrounds deserted, and all across the United States, school buildings sit empty.
Nobody's kind of lived through something like this before. At least here. There's just like giant question marks, you know, everywhere, not just in the education system, but just like, there's just a lot of confusion, as you can imagine. Up to it, you know, you saw students starting to wear gloves and staff as well, and masks, and some students were like carrying around things of Purell to like wash their hands and their friends' hands and stuff like that. And then the staff at a certain point, they were all like, what's going on? We gotta close, you know? I mean, at that point, a bunch of other school districts around the country had already closed. And the Philly School District waited until that Friday, that very last day to even make the announcement. So people were kind of left guessing, I think, for most of that time.
Now, did you see how many different types of images and footage were compiled? Can anybody try to point out some of the ones that you saw? What kind of footage did you see? Like not cuts, like close-ups and stuff, but different sources of footage. How many different types did you see?
I saw street sign.
Okay. And someone said they saw 3 types. Was that, go ahead and say your 3 types.
No, it's a street sign. Sign.
It's a street sign, the 58th and whatever it was, right?
Yep. We saw the street sign. What else did you see, Patricia?
Everyone just start chiming in.
Yeah, just shout it out. What did you see? What different types of footage did you see?
Onions.
News segments.
Carrots.
Carrots. Oh.
And
Onions. Chicken stock.
The boys were stirring, but you couldn't see what was in the pot.
Yeah.
The boys was washing their hands.
on the outside of the school.
We saw lots of different types of shots put together. We saw the footage of the boys in the school, so that was, and footage shot that was on campus. You saw the street sign, the food they were making, what they were doing, saying on camera. Did you also see the Zoom footage? So that was also a different type of footage entirely. So there was the footage that was taken with the students at school, that actual footage. And then there was also footage taken over a Zoom call, just like the one we're doing. It was recorded and then put into, merged with the other one. Did you also see the image of the broccoli, the picture, the still picture of the broccoli with the smoke? That was another type. And then in the beginning, what did you notice? There was a boy. Did you see the boy sitting down on his couch? That was done inside one of the girls' homes. That was her younger brother helping her out. And then Emily pointed out the news clips. So that was 5 different types of images put together into one. So we had the news clips. We use them under fair use. It's there are some rules that allow educators and documentary filmmakers to use public images without having to get prior permission if they cite fair usage for a social purpose, a social critique, or a social use. There's no correct way to make a film. And we learned a couple of takeaways from this project. We learned that communication can make all the difference. We made decisions together. We communicated constantly. We were always emailing and always communicating. And I don't think it would have been possible to make something during COVID had we not communicated a bit more than we thought was necessary. So especially when we're socially distanced, it's really important to make sure that you communicate a bit more than what you think is necessary. We can't always convey things very well because we're not in person. We lose a lot of the the nonverbal communication. So go a little bit further in communicating with your team to make sure that everyone's on the same page. We also learned to divide up the roles. I didn't edit anything because I didn't have software on my computer at the time. So someone else did all the editing, but we decided together ahead of time. My job was to help the boys with the cameras and then to organize all the footage later and to become like a dictionary, so I knew where every clip was. I labeled them, I knew what they all were. And when the editor said, hey, do we have a shot of them shredding carrots? I'd be like, yes, we do, and let me get it to you. So we need somebody like that in a team that maybe doesn't handle all the creative decisions, but is helping with behind the scenes creativity and knows about all the footage. So you can think in your teams about who's going to do each job. Not everyone has to act. Not everybody has to do everything. It's important to set some boundaries and to find out what you're all good at or what you all want to learn through this project. And number 3, again, you can make a film with anything. As long as you're zooming in right now with a camera in this class, you can make a film. You don't need a camera. You don't need a video camera. You don't need anything special. You can already make it even if you just have a phone. And a lot of great films are made that way. Here's an example of on the left, a film that's coming out this year called Saudi Runway. It was filmed on 2 smartphones in Saudi Arabia by the subject of the film herself, by a girl who goes under the name Muna for the sake of the film. It was shot with 2 smartphones. I don't even think they were iPhones. I think they were just Android smartphones. And then on the right, we have another film that's coming out. It was a horror film made entirely over Zoom in a Zoom meeting. So there are so many possibilities that I think people are finding exciting right now, that you can use whatever technology you already have. And I guess I'm emphasizing this point because when I did the survey last week, several people said you feel a little bit nervous going forward, and you cited your devices. As long as you have a way to zoom in right now to class, you can make a great film. You don't need to worry about any of your devices. So please feel comfortable and confident. And we can always talk after this class if there's anything that you feel could be a hurdle to making your footage, but I guarantee you, you will be just fine. And when I asked you what you're going to be using to make your films, what kind of devices you already have, nobody has a camera, at least the people who responded to the survey, but everyone has a laptop, a tablet, and a mobile phone. Not everybody, but a lot of people have these things. Again, that's enough. As long as one person in your team has this, you're good to go. Some of the things to keep in mind is to be responsive to each other. Teamwork can be joyful when everyone's working together and everyone is communicating and committed. Tip 2, test your recording equipment. Technology is unpredictable even in the best of times. So please do test out anything you're going to use. You've seen me in this class sometimes have tech breakdowns and tech troubles. Like on the first day, I couldn't get my screen share to work because I hadn't tested it beforehand. So make sure that you test whatever you're going to be using, test it ahead of time so that everyone's time is used well. Get prior permission to film others. Someone asked how we can film others who are not in the class. We are going to be sending you a consent form later on today that you can use to get others' permission to be filmed. Yes, you do have to get the permission, and they have to show you in writing. This is really important. Be aware of the lens. Try to train your eye to look more at the camera, not at faces. There's a way to move up your own the video so that the video of other people's faces is right below the camera. You can put it right below your camera. So then when you're looking at people's faces, you're also looking at the actual camera of your computer. Another tip for the lens is to tap the screen of your phone or tablet, if you're using a phone or tablet, make sure that it's in focus. Sometimes it's possible to ruin a good shot or good scene by not making sure that things are focused ahead of time. So just make sure to tap it to focus it if you're using a phone or a tablet. It's an automatic focus and it'll help. And number 3, let the person in the team with the highest quality webcam or lens do the filming. So if somebody has like, you can check out your quality ahead of time to see who has the best footage, but try to let the person who has the best quality camera or phone or equipment do the actual filming portion, if possible. If not, then just wing it and go with it. It'll be just fine. Like you saw in our film, we had some really fuzzy zoom footage, but it still worked. It still got the message across well. Another point is to think visually, the next column of text. Try to film a natural light if you can. A window is always really good for this. So if you can pick the daytime, better than picking at 7 p.m. when it starts to get dark. Try to find a daylight window to film in and have the light in front of you, not behind you, because then you'll be in shadow. So try to have it in front of you. Film in landscape view, like horizontal, not in vertical. And try not to switch between the two of them. So it's best to film. Most people, when they're looking at it later, yeah, exactly. They hold their phones like this. It's really annoying to have to shift around like this if your footage changes. So keep it like everything should be in landscape view. Again, control the surroundings in the background. This may not be the best place to film, if you've got like, pots and pans behind you, or if you've got like a poster of something that has text on it that people want to read. So make sure that you try to find backgrounds that you can control. It may work for you or it may not work for you, whatever you have in your background. Just try to be aware of your background. Another thing is to listen smart. So it may sound bad even if the footage looks good. And this is something that just takes a little bit of time. So listen back to your footage and make sure that it sounds clear and crisp. And without the aid of earbuds or microphone or earphones. So that's important because many people will not be looking at your film with any earbuds on, but we might be using them, say, Kevin's got some on right now. So you might be, using them to zoom into this class right now, and it makes the sound better. But most people will not watch your film later using earphones or earbuds. So try to keep them in mind, that it should be clear enough to be audible without having the aid of any type of earphones. When you're recording, hit the recording button early. Start recording the actor speaking and moving for 10 seconds before the actual scene begins. In that time, you can make sure that your focus is right. You can tap to your screen to see your focus. You can also check if their voice is coming loud and clear. Film twice. Film everything at least twice, even if the first take seemed okay. You can compare both takes later and pick the footage from the best take. But when you do this, do it on the same day, because it's really hard for continuity to, say later on, oh, we should have filmed it twice. Let's do it again because this one particular moment, an ambulance went by and the sound got ruined. But then the next day, you're in a different mindset, different clothes, it's not the same. So pick enough time, pick a lot of time in at least 2 hours if you're going to be filming a scene, and do 2 run-throughs, 2 takes of it before the next day, and then you have to do it again, but find the right outfit. It's confusing. So make sure you have enough time to film twice in the same day. Another tip is to hold steady. You don't have to have a gimbal or a stabilizer to use your phone to film. Here's an image of a guy who's using his own arm sort of as a tripod. So if you hold your phone, this is the camera, so don't block the camera, but if you hold your phone and you bring your arm in kind of against your chest, against your side, like that. And then if you hold it here and hold your arm firmly, you've got a much firmer position to do your filming in. You can move around, you can walk. That's a lot better than what most of us try to do, is hold it out like this where your arms are kind of wobbling naturally. So try to use your own natural tripod, your body's tripod, to do your filming. Credit any sources. So if you happen to use music that's not royalty free, you need to credit who you are using. So that's really important, is to give credit to where it's due. Upload, label, store, and share footage very carefully. You can use a descriptive phrase like doctor putting on mask or close up of phone to label the actual clip with that label instead of the the garbage gibberish that your phone, that it produces, like some random letters and numbers. So relabel the clips with a short phrase about what's happening, and keep 1 GB free of space in a shared online folder. So try to have 1 GB free. That should be plenty of space for all your stuff. And remember to play around with the device you're using before you film, and watch a movie for fun, but try to watch it with a filmmaker's eye to play around with calling out like, hey, that's a CU, or, oh, he just did an MCU. So try to play around a little bit by watching a film yourself, but watching it as a filmmaker. We're going to spend a little time right now in groups breaking down a film together. So in groups, you're going to watch a minute. Let's keep it as 1 or 2 minutes maximum of No Justice, No Peace by Magic Boyd. It should hopefully be relevant to the week that we're experiencing right now. Rewatch the same minute or 2 minutes of the film, and then analyze what you see on a Google Sheet. Try to look at these areas. How many seconds is each shot before it changes to the next shot? Each second really matters in film. And what type of shot is this? Is this establishing long shot, a long shot, etc.? Does the lighting work? What's behind the actors? What is the composition of the shot? And what's actually happening in the story? What is the viewer thinking about as they watch this particular moment? And then finally, what do you hear? Is there music? Is there character dialogue? Is the sound clear? Is it loud enough or not loud enough? So we will spend a little time breaking down the first 1 or up to 2 minutes of No Justice, No Peace.
Hey, Dad.
Yes, sir.
I have a question. This article that I'm reading, it says that black people are 6 times more likely to die than white people in police traffic stops. Is this true?
Yes, that's true. Look at our skin color, son. I'm dark brown, you dark brown. Everybody different skin color getting pulled over.
What? Why? Is it because of
Racism. That's what it's called.
But I thought that was over with. Me and my white friends, we get along great together.
Yeah, that's good. I like your white friend. They real nice and everything. You know, we came so far, but we got so far to go. You should check out this video. It goes through some of the death caused by the racist police in America.
What is it called?
Should I stop it there? 2 minutes? I'll go a little bit more, 30 seconds.
Yeah, like 15 seconds more.
Oh, well, what is it about then?
It's on YouTube. It's on Magic Film. Check it out.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna check it out because I really can't understand why black people are dying of police traffic stops.
Yeah, but it's been happening for over 400 years.
400 years? And we're still getting discriminated against?
We still getting discriminated again.
I think that's a good stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
But is it only me, or is like everybody screaming like keep freezing just like a little?
You mean with the video, it was kind of like lagging a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it was my computer or if it's the video itself. I think it's the video.
You keep acting for like anything somebody shares, not only for this class, even for like my online stuff.
Yeah, I think it's when you share video in Zoom, it's a little bit of a lag in general.
Okay.
Do we rewatch it now, or do we start doing the spreadsheet?
I think you can start the spreadsheet, and if you need to go back, you can. But I'm sure you all caught a few of the different things we've been talking about. What are some of the things you already saw? Just call them out with things that you noticed.
Close-ups with the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Mid.
Zoom. Oh, you can go.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like mid close range or whatever the middle one was of the dad and the son. sitting next to each other. Yeah.
Patricia, what you see?
It's like the, how do you call it? But you go a little back. I forgot how to call it.
It's with the mid close up.
No.
Which one?
Over the shoulder?
That was a good one. The over the shoulder one was good, wasn't it? Over the father's shoulder. From a Tulai, what you see?
Closer from the grips, so the shoulder.
Right. Then other things that I thought were interesting, like because we had like the audio problem ourselves starting it, that Kevin was like, oh, there's no sound yet, but there was sound, there just wasn't talking, right? So like you could, when Magic was still on his phone, you could hear the father walking in. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
And you could hear what the father that he was reading, because you could hear the thing he had in his hand, you could hear the sound of that. So all of those are like cues and clues that give people a sense of what's happening in the space.
Hey guys.
Okay, so close up.
Hey
Hey.
there.
What are we doing?
So we essentially watched one of the videos that was talking about the No Justice, No Peace, the ones that Marianne sent a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And then basically dissecting what type of shot it is in terms of like close-ups, mid-range. Well, I'm not sure how familiar you are with that. But basically we're analyzing each shot and seeing like what was different in each shot, and like about the lighting, about the tone, the narration, the music, things like that. Do you have the Google spreadsheet?
No, can you drop it in the chat for me?
Yeah, sure.
Why don't we rewatch the video?
Yeah,
Now
I
that
think we
Felicity's
should.
here. We can pause it too if you want to like add stuff to the spreadsheet while we go along.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go back. I'm
How
gonna
long
share
have
my
you been
screen.
doing this?
Only like 5 minutes
Okay.
or so. I'm gonna share my screen again with audio. Let's see if this works.
And Felicity, we can share the video with you from today's class so that you can pick up on all the film tips that Marianne shared earlier.
Okay, thank you.
Did you get it, Felicity?
Thank you.
You can hear the birds chirping there.
I'll take notes.
Did you mention that they're zooming in here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, close up.
Hey, Dad.
Yes, sir.
I have a question. This article that I'm reading, it says that black people are 6 times more likely to die than white people in police traffic stops. Is this true?
Yeah, that's true. Look at our skin color, son. I'm dark brown, you dark brown. Everybody different skin color getting pulled over.
What? Why? Is it because of
Racism. That's what it's called.
But I thought that was over with. Me and my white friends, we get along great together.
Yeah, that's good. I like your white friend. They real nice and everything. You know, we came so far, but we got so far to go. You should check out this video. It goes through some of the death caused by the racist police in America.
What is it called?
That's what they say. I can't breathe, right?
Oh, well, what is it about then?
It's on YouTube. It's on Magic Film. Check it out.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna check it out because I really can't understand why black people are dying of police traffic stops.
Yeah, but it's been happening for over 400 years.
400 years, and we're still getting discriminated against.
We still
Can someone pause real quick?
Yeah, we were gonna stop there.
Okay, I was gonna say that I don't know if you've already taken notes on this, but when the dad walks into the living room, they use like a wide shot to orient us to where they were in the house. I don't know if Marianne mentioned that earlier.
No,
They
but go
use
ahead and
the,
make a
like,
note of it. We didn't use that.
wide shots to like orient people to their space.
Well, I saw the over the shoulder was definitely obvious. We should have that somewhere at the bottom, at the end. Oops.
I'm gonna bring in Eve Marie to get Patricia and Ramatulai to join us. Eve Marie, we brought you into this group to help encourage some more participation. Your girls are acting shy.
Who is he? I know we're not acting shy. I told you I have a director, Patricia. She's the one that called me 35 times yesterday to tell me about meeting in the middle of the night. I'm surprised that she's not sharing. What's going on? What's going on? She told me that she was working on it yesterday. What? Oh no, we're not doing the script. We're doing the movie that we just saw, right? Well, what's going on? What's going on? Cat got your tongue? What's...
So Patricia, did you see anything with the phone or with the dad's tone that you recognized that was changing?
Yeah, while the boy was sitting on the couch resting, and he got a notification.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Yay. So snaps for everybody. I saw the sheet filling up. Obviously, this is not like going to be as extensive of a session as we could have. This is a basic, introduction to thinking about films in a different way than just as a viewer, thinking about what goes into making it. So I'm sorry if it felt very rushed. That was the first step towards building your own film, is to watch a film and to break it down, all the pieces and segments of it. Okay. So I noticed that on the Google Sheet, you guys wrote a few different things. Did you notice the difference in time between when we saw Magic sitting on the couch, getting a message and then checking his phone? How long was that shot versus the one where we actually saw what was on his phone? How long was each shot?
Sky, you were saying something?
Yes, I was saying that it was like 2 minutes, like for reading from his phone that we saw.
Sky, was there enough time, or Martina in the same group, Martina, was there enough time to read what was written on the screen?
No, not really.
No, not really. When we film, I know that some of you, someone mentioned that you're going to film a laptop screen in your own film. Make sure that the recording is on the text for enough time for it to be read out twice. So the viewer should be able to read what's on the screen twice before the shot changes. And there was not even enough time to read Magic's phone even once. However, we had 43 seconds of watching him sitting on the couch, receiving a text message, and then looking at it and then reacting to it. So it's important. There was a lot of time for that, so it must be an important moment, but not enough time for us to see what was written on his screen. What about the lighting? Can anyone comment on the lighting? What do you think?
The light was put on the back, which was supposed to put on the front.
Okay, Sky, the light was behind him. The kitchen light was behind, but not in front where it could have been to really illuminate his reactions to what was happening. So the light needs to be on your actors, and the light was behind them in the kitchen in this scene.
We also said when he's on the couch, it would have been better if it was like just the couch in the scene, not the like little part above it, because it was a little distracting, and I think light was coming through.
Okay, thank you. And anybody else?
Yeah, I also found actually the pillow really distracting because it was that solid white. And I found his shirt distracting with the black and white because it was so graphic with the black and white split.
Right. So all these things are building up your awareness right now to watch for these things as you're planning your own shots in your own films. So again, the session is not long enough, but you get the idea. And we're not going to actually split into groups for this, but I'm going to show you how you can actually plan for all these elements that you just observed in your own films. So
I'll follow you. Hang in with us for another few minutes.
Two minutes. It should be done in 2 minutes. So storyboarding, 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes for this, is when you actually plan out your film before you start filming anything, before you record anything. So it's visually planning, and it can improve the way that you film and improve the way that you edit later, if you already have an idea about how it should look before you just plunge right in and start filming it. Okay, you can see here that this is a shot. We've got a mid shot of a man who's handing, sitting on a couch or in the back of a car, handing a picture. Now we have a close-up of the picture, a CU of his face. It looks like he's turning. He's going to turn. So when we storyboard, it's actually really fun. You don't have to be an artist at all to storyboard. You just have to have the right platform to do it. And we have developed, we have an interactive platform for you to storyboard your own films. And we are going to send you guys the link for that. And it is a software called Plot. And you can go over here to New Project on the right, and you can start a new project and then label it with your name, and then draw out how the film should look shot by shot. Let's take a look at what we just saw. So here's the storyboard of the film you just saw. We have the ELS of the home outside. Then we have the MS of Magic sitting on his couch. And a CU on his screen. And then a mid shot of the dad coming into the room reading a paper. So that's it. That's how you storyboard. And all of this can be done on this platform, which we'll give you access to. If you click on the plus sign to open up a new page, a new whiteboard, you can click on the little paintbrush here and click on the tool, the pencil on the left, and you just draw whatever you think is going to be in your shot later. And then, oh, sorry, that's a long arm. This helps because when you're going into film your the scene, you know that you got to have the camera in a mid shot and not standing really far away or really close up. If you know that in this moment when they're saying this line, you want to have this character reaching out and touching your other character, you're going to hold your camera a certain way. So storyboarding is crucial, and it helps you to film better and then to edit your film footage better later on. So I'm going to close out of this now, and I will send you guys the link in an email later on today with the details for how to start a project in this, a storyboarding project in this. It's actually really easy, and it's just like drawing in paint and then writing below what's happening in it. And this is a crucial step towards filmmaking. And with that out of the way, that is our session today. That's what we will be doing now. Okay. I do have a short.
Hey, Marianne, sorry, can I butt in?
Go ahead, please, please.
Are these slides accessible to us?
Absolutely. I'm going to put them all onto the webpage, the class website, and I'll also put it in Canvas as well. And if you would be so kind as to share, 3 minutes of your time in a survey just to tell me what you need now going forward, what made sense, what did not make sense, what do you need now to make your films in a survey that I'll send you guys later on today.